What's up? What's up, Melanated Perspective crew coming to you live from 301-757 in the 972. This is Mo Lou. Got Sister Carrie. What's up?
Peace. What's happening, everybody?
Sister Sonia in the house. What's up, Sister
What's good? What's
Sonia?
good?
Hey,
What's
it's all
good?
good in the hood. We missed you
Mhm.
guys. We were on a little bit of a hiatus. Good
Yeah,
thing we
man.
were. We had a lot going on in the world. We had COVID. We had George Floyd. We had Andrew Brown. It really kind of took us out. It was kind of close to home for all of us. We're from Virginia. That happened in the Elizabeth City, North Carolina area, not far from our home. I mean, like a rock throw for us to drive. So
Hmm.
uh, it's been a challenge. It's really been a challenge. So we wanted to come and talk to you today about um, 1865, the aftermath. Talking about where we are now since slavery, since the civil rights movement, with all the police brutality, KKK, misappropriation, inequality, the whole nine. Over 400 years later, and we're still having this battle, having this fight. And I want Sister Sonia to come in and have a conversation because this kind of started all over a social media post, and it kind of went deep. You know, uh, Black people had something to say, white people had something to say, everybody had something to say. But there was one particular comment that stood out the most, where this gentleman said that it happened long ago and we needed to get over it. So we want to talk about that. How do you get over it?
How do you get over it? That is the question. People say 1865. After that, we weren't slaves anymore. But I think people forget that slavery was over. However, we were just put out like cattle. We weren't given any money, any life skills, any land, any jobs, any way to do business. We didn't know anything. We didn't even know how to have relationships with each other. We didn't know where our families were, where our kids were. We didn't know what to do. It's just like you free, go. So right there, we were at a disadvantage. So from there, where do we go? Where do you go with thousands and thousands of people just released and set out with nothing to do, nowhere to go, not knowing nothing, and generationally they've been there for generations. So it's not like that they could go back to Africa or wherever they had came from initially. This was their homes. They had lived on these plantations or wherever all their lives. And don't get it wrong, we know it was some free people, free black people, people of color. But we started off in the hole in 1865. It just begun for us.
Where that's true. I think that when comments are made about get over it, they need to understand why we can't get over it. There's never been funding or anything after we were let go or say to be free. Um, that even though they're pilgrims and they came here to another land that was not theirs, they had the opportunity to cultivate and make it home. And we really did not have that opportunity. We were immediately boots on the ground, beaten, dragged from your home, from everything that our ancestors knew, and landed. So boots on the ground. Time to go to work.
Yeah, well,
Mothers
most
raped the whole lot. So yeah.
yeah, and most cultures are not familiar with displacement. We're talking about like communal displacement, generational displacement, cultural displacement, um, religious or spiritual path displacement, educational displacement, health and well-being displacement. Like,
Community.
yeah, this is a total flip side of what, how they do shit here from how we did before.
And, you know, it's interesting you bring that up, Carrie, because that reminds me of Katrina, Hurricane Katrina. You know,
Mm,
and that whole New Orleans flavor, that whole genre has a sense of community, and people didn't understand that. Even though we didn't know that there was a third world country sitting right here in the United States of America, you know, that they had to go back, and they didn't understand why they had to go back, and it was because of that sense of community. And so, you know, I think people don't understand too, when you came over in a pilgrimage, you still were with your community, you know, unless you decided to go to another community.
mhm.
They didn't have our ancestors didn't have the ability to know. They were lucky if they were on a sand plantation that was somebody from their family, let alone from their tribe. You
Same.
know, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they forget that. So you have a whole sense of displacement there, like you saying, right off the gate, learning people all over again. What if they weren't from your tribe, or they don't understand that the dialect was different? So now you're trying to find a common language to get along with this person that you don't even know. You know what I mean? So we can't get over that.
And why isn't this comprehensible? Why don't people understand this? Like, it sounds very cut and clear to me. And it makes me think about in your state, Monica, how they are changing the textbooks to remove slavery from textbooks. I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, so that's what you're trying to do. You're just trying to, wipe the whole shit out like it never happened. They're not going to acknowledge it. Maybe
yeah,
we should just accept that. They're not going to acknowledge it.
yeah.
This is,
It,
it's a whole system. It's not just a group of people, it's a whole system.
hmm You know, the thing a lot of people don't know, Texas only teach Texas history and American history. There's no African American history or anything like that.
Native
Um,
American history?
no, ma'am. Only Texas history and American history. That is it.
Wow. Interesting. Sis, you
Sonia, we
muted.
can't hear you.
Hmm. Here you go.
I feel like
Oh,
African American history is American history,
mm,
right?
mm,
I feel like when you talking about American history, it shouldn't be separate. It should be learned because this is our country. You know, we built
word,
this country for
word,
free.
word.
So I feel like that should be all inclusive. I feel like the Native American history should be included in history,
Mm,
American history.
mm,
So that's how I feel about the whole history situation. Because why would it be in public schools anyway? You know, elementary up. Why would you separate it as three? You're causing division right there. You know, like I'm not as important as a black or brown person that I have to have my separate history, and then America has is just white people history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's no slavery in American history. It's no, um, Trail of Tears in American history. That's something separate.
Mm, mm.
No, it's not. That's
No,
what built America. That's how they treated us, and people, it should be acknowledged.
yeah, I agree with that. There was something you said there. Let me see if I remember it, dog. I have to come back to it. It was real important to you. I can't remember it. I was going to ask both of you how you felt about it. But Carrie, I don't know. Chime in on that. What do you think?
Well, it's always that sting when you hear a person of another culture or whatever, because it ain't just white people, that say this to us, about just get over it, just get over it. But
Right.
they keep saying that. So if it's a consistent thing that they are saying, maybe we should check the narrative. Get over it, niggas. We ain't acknowledging that bullshit. Get over it.
But I asked the guy who said get over it. I was like, well, did you tell the Jewish people to get over the Holocaust?
No.
Did you tell the people who have family members at 9/11 to get over their buildings being bombed or whatever happened?
Nope.
Do you ever ask anybody else to get over something like it didn't happen? And in saying that again, in 1865, they act like because slavery was over, our problems had just started another set
Started.
of problems.
Yeah. Real life.
Another set
Yeah.
of problems.
Yeah. Even
Because
with civil rights movement started, it is another. You're right. It's another pivot.
we went through everything. We went through like not even a year of, oh, okay, we were able to do things, and then I guess the same thing like now, new administration came and Freedom Bureau and everything else that was helping Black Americans do their thing uh, was dissolved.
Hmm.
We no longer could vote. We could vote initially, but then we could no longer vote. We could not we couldn't own but certain properties. We had to get it in other people's names. We had all kinds of crazy shit, that happened to African Americans, but that's okay. So we're supposed to forget it. But now we're going into the 1900s. So now here comes the Klan.
Mm.
Mm.
We're trying to vote, get our rights, because now we're people, supposed to be people just like you are. But when we want to vote or get a job somewhere or live somewhere or buy some land or get a business, what happened? You burn it up, you kill our children, you kill us, you rape our women. This same thing as slavery, right? But we
Tragic.
free.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Tragic.
But we free. But get over it though. Get over it. Now we up to the 1920s. You burned down whole communities, killed millions of black people, destroyed businesses.
Mm.
But we supposed to get over it. Now we
Yep.
up to the 50s and 60s. Come on now. Civil rights. We still fighting to try to vote. Kids
Still
can't even go
fighting.
to school. Can't even
Yeah.
get books for school. Separate but equal.
Say that.
Yeah.
If it was equal, we wouldn't have had a problem at all.
Mm.
Right. 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 And that's something to talk about there too. Is about the equality component. You know, um, what does that look like? What are the secrets that they're keeping as far as wealth and independence and entrepreneurship that they can share? And then what do we do with it once we get the information or get the reparation? What's the stipulation on that, or how do we move around on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I feel, I believe in reparations. I just believe that, everybody shouldn't just get cut a check, because that stems back to our mentality from 1865. Some of us generationally, we never learned how to develop relationships, never learned how to handle money, how to build business, do things like that. So it's not like all of a sudden, if I give you a check for, let's just throw it out, $80,000, I'm going to know what to do with it, right? If I haven't been taught over the years and the generations what to do with it, what makes you think the $80,000 is going to do anything for me if I still haven't been taught? We're
But do
dealing with
you but
issues.
do you feel like that's the plan though? See, I feel like that's the plan.
I do too, Monica. I do
Yeah,
too. It's
I
by
feel like
design.
it is. It's by design. And the timing is so perfect. It's not really, it's almost, to me, it's almost like slavery. It's like, it's not even about let's do what's right. It's about we need that shit. You know what I'm saying? I've always said we are the last group of people that are not financially sound, just like what you said. So what do? You give the money to boost back the economy to those people because they're going to do exactly what you need them to do. Stupid shit.
Bingo.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's just, I
But
hate that.
see,
There's only a handful of us that are going to go open a business or go
But
buy some
I
stock.
feel like that's what they should do. They should give the money to the SBA, so for specifically for melanated people's businesses, specifically money to HBCUs to make their programs on the level of D1 schools that are not HBCUs. They should give their money to communities, to Section 8 housing, so it's no more projects. Because let's think about that. When we moved, we did the big northern migration, when everybody moved from the south to the north,
Right.
Chicago, New York, or whatever. And then what did they do? They built projects for
Mm-hmm.
us to live in. which again fosters the sense of you got a whole group of poor people living in substandard conditions and with substandard jobs, and but you expect them to thrive. Here again, it's still that's still an extension of slavery. Now you know nobody's forcing them, but are they not being forced when you don't have money? And then when they go to lives of crime, drugs, whatever, gangs or whatever, then it's like, oh, they the bad guy. But what else do you do?
Well, it's hard to change their perception. Like, how could we ever change their perception of us? Do you think that's possible? Because like how we talk about how much trauma we experience from generation to generation. It makes me think about how much bullshit they done put in their children's minds from generation to generation about their supremacy, about us being, animals and thugs and, you know, below them and beneath them. It's like we never have a chance. Before their children even come in contact with us, they are already told who we are and what we about. That's it's not going to change. I just
Mhm.
don't think it's going to change. And I hate to sound like a Debbie Downer, yo, but I kind of look at it. I'm just trying to be very realistic about it. And I
Right.
don't want to really have any expectation
Well,
because
I'm
it's
a
been too long. It's been
yeah.
too long. 1865 to the aftermath. This shit gonna be going on well until our grandchildren and they
Right.
grandchildren and all that shit.
Right. I'm at a point now where I think this is where we're missing the mark because we're looking for validation from them. And I think we need to empower ourselves and look at validation of ourselves and not worry about them. I think that's how we get back to Black Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? Understanding and accepting who we really are and where we have come. And we really don't need their asses. I
And
really
stop trying to use them as the standard. They
as the
are not
standard.
the
They're not standard.
standard.
No, they're not. They're not. No.
They are usurpers. They, steal land and steal ideas. And
Right.
black people was coming up with all those gadgets and stuff at
Hmm.
that time because they were the laborers. And then the white people would send it off and get the copyright and
Right.
They even stole whiskey. You know, they even stole whiskey. Jack Daniels. Yeah.
oh
you
gosh.
know,
Oh,
so you think about it. They yeah, but that's the standard by which we, I guess, judge ourselves.
we do. I think we do as a collective, as a whole.
Mhm.
Because we were taught the same thing. If you black, get back. If you
Right.
brown, stick around. That shit.
And if you like, you
What,
are
what
right.
was that shit about?
Mhm. I want to know who
Right.
made that standard. They need to be punched in their eye for real.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
That
Well,
that
we
that
even have
causes a lot of
we have
problems.
the problem within ourselves with
Mhm.
light
That's what I was
skin,
about to
and dark
say.
skin,
Yeah.
and brown skin. And see, here we go back to 1865. It's the same. That goes back to that, right? Because that's how they divided us. You know, light skinned people were in the big house, and the dark skinned people were in the fields. I mean, I don't think probably was no brown skinned people at the time because you was dark because you was in the field, whether you were brown initially or not. But no, seriously though, that's the way they segregated. So you know that started there. People were trying to get a plan, and somebody snitching. That ain't changed. That has not changed.
So I think one thing Carrie pointed out is how do we get them to, I don't know about changing their mind, but just understanding, trying to have them understand why we can't get over it. What do we do if everywhere we go somebody says get over? How do we have the conversation to get them to understand? Or where does that conversation start?
maybe it has to come from someone they can relate to, like another white person or another person, of their race or ethnicity.
or one of their 5 black friends.
If
Or
they
what?
got if they
They
got that
always got
many.
one. They always
Or what
got
about
that
the
one.
black people that are just as bad? The ones that have made it, and then they put us as a collective down. It's like, well, stop killing each other. Well, stop me. Why did I pull myself up and blah blah blah? They're to me, they're worse than white people.
And they
And
really are. And I think one thing that they need to understand is this. Just like what they fail to realize is the majority of the people that steal, and research shows this, is because they or someone in their family is hungry. Okay. So if we had the resources to combat the poverty, you wouldn't have to worry about us stealing your shit,
we
right?
do have the resources. I don't mean to cut you off, but yeah, I just watched a documentary about dumpster divers and how these restaurants are just throwing away so much
Mm-hmm.
food.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you they can't give it away.
Can't
Like
give it away. That's the only way they can write it off, is to say that they threw it out. It's the
that
same
lets
way
you
with
know they don't want to
hardware.
make shit right. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
They don't want
That's
to
right.
make it right.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I wish people understand though. It just didn't end. It didn't end for people of color with 1865. It was just a different beginning, you know. And and actually, you think about it, there's a lot of people that went back into slavery down south. They tricked people back into slavery. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they sharecropping was really just slavery because they never made any money because they owed everything to the person for being a sharecropper. So that was just slavery with a different name.
All by design. So why would we think we could still trust them? Like I don't it's what do you call it like when someone falls in love with their rapist or something like that? There's a clinical
Mhm.
term for that. I
It
can't.
is.
Mm-hmm.
And like the kidnapper with
Yeah,
Patty
it's kind
Hearst.
of like
Remember she
like kind of like Stockholm syndrome.
home syndrome.
Yeah.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, where the
Yes.
door is
That's
open and you can't leave. You can't. They can't even walk out. Yeah, so
Right,
that's how
right.
indentured certain the people that were indentured or that were free went back to work for their masters because of that. What we're talking about, it's
mhm.
a conditioned behavior, you know. So
Between that and not knowing what else to do. But like I said, when you know, like just think about it. If you were generations of slaves and then, you know, you're free.
right, right.
I mean
So
think about what would you do?
I don't know. Just think about, you
That's a
just
hard
let
one.
go. Yeah, you just let go, and you just in the wilderness alone.
Right,
Look, whatever you
Family,
do, we
no.
did it.
Right, in real life.
We did it.
right,
And look, I bet you a lot of people that I don't give a fuck. They probably amazed by us.
Oh, they
right.
are
Because I'm still amazed by the Underground Railroad.
Ah,
in real life. And that lady was about 4'11", 4'8".
What? But I'm just amazed by the whole process of putting that together. And you know, that's what we would call now our white people allies. That were our
Right,
allies, you know.
right.
And
mhm.
so we know there are good white people. It's
Of
not just
course.
all
It's
black
not,
white
and it's
people
not.
out there.
That is not what this is about. Not
Yeah,
at
and
But
all.
I'm
they,
glad you brought that up too, Sonia, because
Mhm.
we need them to understand that, and we need them. I need to understand why you want us to check our people, right? Why are we killing each other? But why aren't you checking your people? I think the biggest check that I've seen that they've done is turning in their own kind during this insurrection. And shout out to them that did that. You go, pilgrims. You know what I'm saying? They
but
did that.
but you know what though? I think more so on that. I'm sorry to jump the subject. Is the people that were there are turning on their own people to try to benefit themselves more so than other things. So yeah,
Mm.
trying to get themselves out of trouble.
I
They
do think
ain't thinking
some of them
about us.
are. I do think some of them are ashamed, though. I really do. The family members that were outside of it that called in and turned their asses in, I really do feel like they're ashamed. They are, and I really think that they want to see change. I know I've been to a rally here in a very heavily populated Caucasian area, Saxe, Wiley, whatever, out here in North Dallas. And one of my very good friends was a guest speaker there. There was just as much of them there as it was us. They were doing voter registration. I've never seen us do that at a rally. Never. They had the voter registration thing set up. I was like, wow, okay. So I mean, there are some good ones out there. And I even had a conversation with one of the police officers. I said, look, we know it's not all of y'all. You know, I understand being a part of, even though I'm not a part of a sorority, but I understand your Royal Order of Water Buffaloes. But I want to understand why you won't turn their asses in and you know their ass is wrong. That's
That
jeopardizing
part.
you coming home
That
to
part.
your family. You know what I'm saying?
That's
I don't
breaking
understand that.
code. That's
But
breaking
you know, but
code.
to me, you're just as
So,
guilty. You're just as guilty if you're not speaking up. You're just as guilty
look at how many
as the
Yeah.
police
person doing it.
officers have died because you won't turn Bubba in. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we talk about
Mhm.
innocent police officers that have died because of this bullshit. Turn the
Yeah.
motherfuckers in. You no good anyway.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that I think that when is it that when can we stop trying to educate them and be like, I don't even care no more. It is what it is. We're not getting over it, and that's it. Period. We're not getting over it till we want to get over it. God damn it.
That's
Period.
right.
And they say, oh, that was 200 years ago, blah blah blah. But I can tell you this, and my dad's grandparents were slaves. Yep, grandparents.
Mm, yeah, I think my dad's grandparents were too.
Grandparents.
Hmm.
So yes,
Wow, that's only twice removed. That's
right.
deep.
My grandfather, who was the youngest kid in his family, and of course, they had big families back then. My grandfather's oldest sibling were slaves.
That's crazy.
So, people
Ugh.
say, "Oh, you so far removed," but it's not. Mine might be a little different. I have old ass parents, but um, but still, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah.
That is like a picture of somebody in your home that was a slave.
That's heavy, yo.
That's deep. I have a picture of my third
That's
generation
heavy.
grandmother that was a slave. Yep, her
Yeah.
name was Sarah.
Mhm.
And you
So
know what? You said what's the relationship? Your
Third
father's
gen. Oh, you.
grandparents?
my father's grandparents were
That's
slaves.
deep.
And my father's grandparents may not have been slaves,
Hmm.
if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Hmm.
And I mean, I understand that because let me tell you, I tell you, my mom and dad the same exact age. My father's grandparents, both sides, were slaves. Okay. Well, no, I think maybe one may not have been, but um, only because she was so young. That's the only reason. Um, but my mother's grandparents, one of them,
Wow.
the other three were not.
Wow. Because of shade, because of shade of the skin.
Um, she had two grandparents that were white.
Hmm.
There's so much I want to say right now, but
Mhm.
I
They were
can't. Just
Norfolk.
out of respect, you know what I mean? Because I already know.
And then she had
I'm like, don't say it, Carrie. Don't.
Rapist.
and the other side, but let me and to end this whole slavery thing. I mean, but and the other side, and the one I said that the one that was a slave, he was really young, like he was a slave, like at about 6 years old, he was no longer a slave. But his mother is the one that bought all the land after slavery. She got a white person to buy the land for her and
Wow.
then transfer it to her
Mm,
name. That's the
Right.
land you see that I showed you. Those
Wow.
100
beautiful.
acres.
A
That one, that was a slave.
PIMP. I like that. Go ahead on.
That
Mhm.
is so
Word.
dope.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yes.
deep.
So,
That's deep.
so people when they say it's far removed, if people really look, it's not as far as people are thinking. You
No.
know, and you know, you might be three generations back or four, but you think about that. That's
Well, you
But
think
you
about
can.
it, generations are only 10 years apart. So you talking
Mhm.
twice removed, that's only 20 years. That's not a lot of
That's
time.
Mm-mm. And it's a feeling too. Like you can feel it. We have experiences and we go through certain emotions, certain thoughts, have
Yeah,
certain dreams, like see certain visions, all of that
yeah.
as a result of that
Hmm.
shit is real.
yeah.
Hmm.
Sometimes I think about slavery, and I just get. Sometimes I get so mad, and sometimes I just get
Oh,
like, you know, a
I
shake,
just get
like.
full. Yeah, I do. I just get full thinking about it.
and I just said the other day, I don't know if I could take another damn slave movie. I just don't
No, I
know. I
can't.
can't.
I can't. Uh-uh.
I
I
don't.
didn't watch 12 Years of Slave. I don't think I watched the
Yo,
Mississippi
that one,
Burning.
ooh,
Yeah,
that
I
one.
didn't do any of that shit. I
He
didn't
I
went
do
in
don't
any of
the
think
that
I
place.
shit.
saw that either.
Ooh, that
Uh-uh.
would hurt because he
I
they.
didn't
I
watch
mean, he
Harriet
on the plane.
Tubman. I didn't do Harriet Tubman.
I
I'm
didn't
sorry.
see the Harriet Tubman
Yeah, I
movie.
can't. I can't do it. I can't. I'm sorry.
Mm-mm.
But that, I'm not saying. But these are the reasons that we can't just get over it.
That's
So
right.
you know, I hope that we be able to share this with some people that need to see it for real.
Right.
Um, to understand what it is really about. It's not really about just being like, oh, we need $50,000 because you were slaves. Blah, blah, blah. No, that's not what it's about.
Mm-mm.
But everybody's gotten paid but us. So I don't understand what is that? That's a whole ethical issue to me in itself. Because what are you saying? What are you saying? I build a country and I don't get paid. I don't understand what that is saying. So
We have people without we don't even have our own ethnicity or our own we don't even have our we not we visitors in this country. We can't go to Africa. They don't accept us here. We are here from four and five generations back, longer than a lot of the white people that are here.
right.
But we still are disrespected. We still are not accepted. And that's the part that hurts so much because they don't want us in Africa either. And they don't want us in United States. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, they
And
accept
that's
us.
interesting you say that. They go back to their native country. They go back to Italy. They go back
Right.
to, you know what I'm saying, Germany. They go back and visit their family members and talk and have oral stories. We can't do that.
And you talking about go back to Africa. Africa is a country, not I mean a continent, not a country.
Hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Go back to Africa. Go where?
Go
Tell me where.
where?
Go where? You
Which
got
part?
four grandparents, six, eight great grandparents. They probably all from somewhere else. You know?
Right. Yeah.
So tell me
Yeah.
where to go.
Well,
You
I
can't just
know
drop me off.
Brother Takuma, he's in Fort Worth. Brother Takuma said he ain't going no damn where. He
Yeah.
We
not
built
gonna do it. And his reason for not going anywhere is because he said when the shit go down, somebody gotta stay here and protect other black folks.
Right. I'm with him on
He's
that
like,
one.
I'm not going no damn where. I'm like,
but
But
we
I'm not
shouldn't
going
have
okay.
nowhere.
to.
We from here. Where,
We
where I'm
shouldn't have
going?
to.
I ain't going
We
no
shouldn't
damn
have
where.
to.
And then like I know of so many people that have gone to Africa to move and repatriate and they end up having to come back.
Mm. Now,
Um,
what reason is that, Carrie? Why they come back?
I think most times it's financial,
Mm.
like
Mm,
improper planning prior to
Mm-hmm.
going.
Mm-hmm.
Just some of it, just going and not even knowing anyone local.
Mm.
mhm.
Making those connections with ones, prior to getting there.
So we back to
Um,
square one. That's what you're saying.
mhm.
We back to
Tap
square
on
one.
So that's what it's like. It's like you getting a plane ticket, going to wherever, Ghana, Gambia, wherever, and then getting off the plane and I don't know nobody. That's just like how we got here. I don't know nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
And
Mm-hmm.
now
mm.
you want them to be
Right.
accepting of you, and they don't know you. They don't know what you can do, your skills. You can't speak the language. You know we. That's what I'm saying. This is our country. This is
Word.
our country.
I feel you, yo. I feel
And I
you.
think when we realize that this is our country,
Right.
and because I don't have to be called an African American.
No.
Oh, don't call me that.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Like,
I think it needs to be changed, but you know,
Don't call me that.
good old
because you
Jesse
don't
done got us
call.
to we almost a damn just call us Crayola in a minute. Shit,
Yeah,
too
I'm saying,
smart.
why are we just not American? Just
Right,
period.
right, right.
I mean, make it. I mean, how many generations your family been here? I've been here
Mm-hmm.
longer than Donald Trump's family been here.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. How about that?
That's right. That's saying something.
Mm-hmm. How about that?
That's
So,
saying
so
something.
on the closeout, ladies, where do we go from here? How do we educate those that need to be educated, or do we even worry about it? Where do we go from here?
I'm not educating no damn body
Word.
about nothing, but I will encourage. But I ain't telling nobody shit. Some folks
Right.
too damn old. They should already know. They should already know. Open your eyes. Shut your
Right,
damn mouth and listen. You'll
right.
see. It'll be plain as a nose on your face.
I think that we shouldn't have to explain anymore. I think, you know, we should be tired of explaining. And it's like, we shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to.
Um, yeah. And so here was my question: do we need the apology?
It's almost like 9 times out of 10, if you're referring to an apology, in a situation where someone has wronged you, just it's normal for anyone to need that apology. You know what I mean? Um, so why would it be any different with them? I know we say fuck them, we don't so and so, blah blah blah, but deep down, like that's innate that you
Mm-hmm.
want someone to acknowledge, a wrongdoing. You
Mm-hmm.
want them to acknowledge the fact that they have hurt you or harmed you or done you no good. It's not gonna happen. I don't expect an
And see,
apology
I
from you.
don't need the apology, or I'm not sure if what I feel like I need is an apology. I just need you to acknowledge that you fucked up, and I need you to acknowledge that you're still fucking up. And then I need you to tell me your 12-step plan as to how you gonna stop fucking up. So is
I want
that
the
an
apology.
apology?
I want the apology.
You want the apology? Okay.
I want the apology, and I want my 40 acres and a mule.
I need a little bit
And
more than 40 shit.
and even if I'm giving it to somebody else,
Yeah.
I need to be able to bring us to a place where we accepting of ourselves as being Americans and learning how to take care of ourselves. And that's what I want. Just accept that we are Americans. I just want us to be on equal ground. Put in a position so that you can succeed, you can be successful. Because there's a lot of people that don't understand it. They didn't have that path. They didn't have that, those parents or grandparents or that structure. They still haven't healed.
Mhm.
And mentally, they don't have the capacity, because not saying that, something's wrong, but I'm saying they haven't mentally and emotionally healed generationally, generation after generation after generation. And that's what I want. I want them to be able to heal. I don't really need my 40 acres and a mule, but I want to give it to somebody else who will help them heal and to start fresh and to be like, this is my country. It's not just your country. This is our country.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's right. And that may be a part of the reason why we're not getting over it, why we hold on to it. That may be a part of our healing. It may just be a part of our healing by, how we continuously acknowledge it or feel it. Um, it's just a vibe to me that just transcends so many generations, past, present, and future.
Mhm. 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 Well, ladies, once again, we give the people knowledge from our perspective. I want to thank each and every one of you that are out there tonight that took your time out to listen to Melanated Perspective. I am Olu, Sister Carrie, and Sonia. We appreciate your time. Love to hear and see from you again. Check us out. Take a look at us.
Peace.
Listen to us.
Peace.
Peace out. One.
One. Love.